Hi everyone, this is Lisa Haven and I've got an important report to share with you specifically in regards to some of the things that are happening to our economy. What I'm about to show you in this report is at least 7 charts, there's actually more than that, but 7 charts that are wreaking havoc across the nation because what these charts show scream that we are already in recession mode. Now I've been saying for a few years now that we are going to get into an economic crisis at some point in time. It's not a question of if, but when it will happen. And here's the thing, nobody knows exactly when we will arrive at that point. My job as a reporter, however, is to say, here's the statistics, look at what's going on, and you decide and you make that conclusion. And instead of hiding that information from you, as a lot of mainstream media does, I bring it to you first and foremost. So what I'm going to show you is the statistical facts of what our economy looks like. And let me give you a warning. It seems as if we're already in the beginning of the recession period. At least that is what the charts are showing. Again, nobody knows when this thing is going to go down. I want to make that clear. However, my job, once again, is to share the information as it arises. That's what I want to do today. Let's delve into some of those charts. All right, so here's the first report from ZeroHedge.com, and the headline reads, "The startling truth about how working families are truly faring in this economy." Now, I highly encourage all of you to get over here and read this in its entirety. I will leave links below. This was just published on June the 5th of this year. But in this report, a Zero Hedge author, and this was submitted by Michael Schneider, reveals these charts right here. And I'm just going to expand them on the screen here. Now, here are the charts that are wreaking havoc. And this is 9 charts. I said 7 earlier, I meant 9 charts that are wreaking havoc. As you can see here, and feel free to pause this, but this was put together by Zero Hedge. You have money printing up, student loans up, food stamps, how many people are using food stamps up, federal debt obviously up, and that's gone skyrocketed ever since President Obama came into office. Labor force participation down, home ownership down, median family income down, healthcare costs up. So you can see there's some staggering info contained in these that, in my opinion, prove that we are on the brink of some pretty economic critical events here. Now, moving on, here is another report, once again put out by Zero Hedge, this time by Tyler Durden. Fed sees labor market deteriorating at fastest pace in 7 years. And here is a chart here that they share, but he says last month's major divergence between payrolls and the Fed labor market conditions index has closed somewhat with the collapse in jobs on Friday. However, this morning, 4.8 indicators, labor market conditions in the U.S. are deteriorating at their fastest pace in 7 years. And he also goes to show another market implied Fed rate hike here as well. Moving on, here is another report, once again put out by Zero Hedge. And I'm just going to read you the headline here, but he says it's probably nothing. Yeah, okay. JP Morgan recession indicators surge to new cycle highs. Again, this is by Tyler Durden on June 3rd. And here are some of the charts that show those probability of recession within 12 months. And as you can see from these charts here, or the chart in front of you, they are predicting that there will be, or indicators of a recession. And here is that last chart here. You can pause and check that out. But not that I care for JP Morgan or any of that organization, but nonetheless, they are sending out the quote warning saying, look, there is a possibility of recession within the next 12 months. Now, here's another report put out by CNSnews.com, and it was put out by Susan Jones on June 3rd of this year. Again, I'll leave a link, but it states record 94,708,000 Americans not in the labor force. Participation rate drops in May, which means we took a very big hit in the month of May. Now, if you compare that number, there's about 319-ish people living currently in the United States of America, and about 94 million. That's almost 100 million. That would be 1 in every 3, 1 in every 4-ish are either not in the workforce or not working, without a job. That is an outrageous numbers. But the report reads, a record, again, that number, Americans were not in the labor force in May. 664,000 people more than in April. And the labor force participation rate dropped 0.2 of a point to 62.6%, near its 38-year low. The Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Friday. When Obama took office in 2009, 80 million Americans were not participating in the labor force. Wait a minute. I thought Obama said the labor force was better. Oh, let's just push that number under the rug because he's a liar. Since then, about 14 million Americans have left the workforce. Some retiring, some just quitting, and obviously some are laid off, as I'm going to show you in a moment. Now, if you want to see the actual statistical information, I'll include that here. That's on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it will be linked below. Also, let me show you some of the daily job cuts. I like to go through these every now and then. And again, I'm going to leave a link, but you can see some of the numbers here are in the thousands, some are in the hundreds, some are just double digits. 400 layoffs in Boston here. But this is always a good indicator of how the economy is doing, how many layoffs are happening across the board. Sometimes, you can find, tens of thousands of layoffs as well. But check out, here's Shell, 2,200 layoffs. Lots of information, things, and lots of things to keep an eye on here. Now, here is another report I want to show, and it's 312K full-time jobs were lost in the last 2 months. This again put out by Tyler Durden on Zero Hedge. And here's the charts that I like to show as well. Here's your full-time versus part-time jobs in April chart there. You can pause and take a gander. And here is the long-term trend, also shows a clear reversal pattern as increasingly more part-time jobs are replacing full-time jobs. That is a sign of a weak economy when you've got more part-time versus full-time. Obviously, full-time is the better, unless, to show economy-wise, because you have lots of variables impacting that. Here is another report I found on David Stockman, ContraCorner.com. You can come here and read the report, but this was put on June 1st, and he said, bad trend breaking, why retail results are not better than expected, but worse than ever. And he gets into some of the information of just how bad things truly are. Here's a report by Michael Snyder, worst jobs report in nearly 6 years. 102 million working age Americans do not have jobs. And finally, the last report I want to show you here is on King World News. James Turk says, we just witnessed a huge wake-up call for the world. And he's specifically talking about the economy here. It says the shocker was how few jobs were created in May, and how Wall Street is finally starting to get the message that a recession is imminent, if in fact one hasn't already begun. We know that the Federal Reserve is not going to raise rates in June at this time, but nonetheless, there is a lot going on. So there you have it. That is the state of our economy as you see it. And as I said in the beginning of this report, my job is to show you the evidence, show you the information as it is, and you can do with that what you will. Now, keep in mind, we received no warning from our government in 2007, 6, 8, when all that stuff come crashing down. So you can rest assured that we will not be getting a warning again this next time. Nonetheless, what I try to do is, we all know it's not a question question of if it's going to happen, but when, but nobody knows when. But we can keep an eye on the statistics to see what's happening, to just kind of get an idea of when things could go down or when things could hit the crapper, so to speak. So that's why I have all the charts to show you, and you can do with that what you will. Anyhow, wanted to bring you that stuff as it arises. If you're not prepared, please get food now and prepare. I personally use foodforliberty.com/haven. Also, want to tell you about something really cool that my sponsor at getthetea.com is doing. Every so many people selected randomly that call in. Make sure you mention the name Lisa Haven when you call in or order online. But every order that's put through, so many people will get it free, and that will happen the entire month, which is Health Awareness Month in June. So it will go all the way through the end of this month. But if you do get free product, your whole order is free. Let me know. Leave it below. I'd love to hear about it, but it's selected randomly. So if you happen to get chosen, keep me posted on that. Well, thanks again for tuning in. And again, my sponsors help fund what I do here. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And without you guys as well. Well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven signing off.